All right. It's time to introduce our speaker this morning. Reverend Lisa joined the Center of Enlightenment in the winter of 2015 with her friend John Piquel, whom she's known since 1977. She was so happy to find people like her that could see, hear, and feel spirits. After a few years, one of the ministers asked Lisa to consider becoming a minister. She said yes and continued her education. Reverend Lisa is a medium and a spiritual healer through the Center of Enlightenment. In addition to all her requirements here at the Center of Enlightenment, Reverend Lisa has a bachelor's degree in community health from Central Michigan University with minors in English and psychology. She has also attained level 2 at her Reiki studies, as well as level 1 in Holy Fire Reiki from congregants Patty Shaw and John Piquel. She is now taking classes at the Spiritual Arts Institute to gain more metaphysical education. Reverend Lisa was ordained on January 17, 2022. Reverend Lisa is one of our board members, as well as our public relations director, and has served as secretary. She also chairs the Spirit Fair Committee, works on Vestibule newsletter, and the website. Reverend Lisa has certifications in HTML, website design, and in Microsoft Office. Reverend Lisa's married to Tony Vader, a retired special education teacher and chef. Tony and Lisa travel, enjoy their grandchildren and their cat Nutmeg, and their career change leader dog Snoopy, who's adorable, by the way. Reverend Lisa feels very blessed to be here to serve at the Center of Enlightenment. So please help me welcome Reverend Lisa Argo to the podium.
Boy, I need to cut that down. That was a lot.
I'm trying to read it as quick as I could without.
Yeah. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you all for being here this morning. I am grateful that you shared that, because it helped me finalize my sermon, which I've been writing on and off for the last month. And it's like, okay, I gotta get rid of this. I'm going to start with some words from Buddha. You are the first victim of your own anger. Your own anger. We really are. I am. We all are. Our bodies change. Our emotions change. Our mind changes. One of the ways you can see if you have self-anger is how you treat those closest to you. Let me tell you a story. I've got lots of them. Recently, I was so stressed. I was trying to get the new camper set up for our maiden voyage. My cousin Diane was moving back to Michigan from Colorado, and my husband, Tony, and I were going to go bring her back, and I was excited about that. But I was doing a class, and I wanted to make sure the class was taken care of, so I had Reverend David do it. And then, I'm in charge of the Spirit Fair, and we were having meetings, and I wanted to make sure those were on track. All in a 2-week span. I was going cuckoo. I ended up with shingles. One evening during this insane time, my husband was cooking and moving around the kitchen. And as the former chef, he goes here, there, 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 here, and I'm trying to get something to eat to take with me, and he's in my way. So I got angry, and he said, "What can I help you with, dear?" And I snapped at him. Was I angry at my husband? No. I apologized when I got home, and the kind man said he just wanted to help. Yes, I have control issues, but that's another sermon. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Carl Jung. I've got lots of quotes today. I was mad at myself for not being prepared with my food. I could have gone in there earlier when Tony was at work. I was mad at myself for not being prepared for the meeting. I was mad at myself for a plethora of reasons. You know how we get? Do you know what they stem from? Blame and denial. Anger and frustration are rarely caused by other people's actions. They're caused by how you interpret their actions. To change your reactions, question your explanations. You know what they did, but not why. New interpretations pave the way to new emotions and gratitude. Taking internal frustration and anger out on others is a psychological defense mechanism where we direct negative emotions from an unmanageable or uncomfortable source onto an easier, safer target. Right? But the next time, look at their faces when you blow up. Really look. You'll see hurt, maybe a flinch. Yelling and anger are forms of abuse. I lived with that. That's what I was taught. That's what I do. But that's for another sermon. Let's go into why we internalize anger. We internalize anger as a self-protective coping mechanism when we feel scared, unworthy, unsafe, or we're not getting our needs met. By turning this natural emotion inward, we also end up directing it towards ourselves in the form of self-blame, critical inner voices, and the low self-esteem. A lot of them come from childhood conditions and traumas. Fear of retaliation. If you grew up with volatile, abusive, and emotionally neglective caregivers, expressing anger may be less dangerous than having the punishment. You learn to suppress your anger to stay safe. And then self-blame. Children often rely on their parents for survival. To protect the idea that the caregivers are good, a child may internalize the blame. And believe me, that knot in my stomach comes up every time I read that sentence. Believing they are the problem rather than acknowledging your parents' shortcomings. How many of us did that? It was my fault, not my parents. Sometimes there's gender issues involved, not saying anything negative or positive, but a lot of times women and femme-presenting individuals are often socialized to act as peacemakers, caretakers, meaning anger is frequently shamed and labeled as aggressive. Conversely, male and men projecting people may be taught to only display anger, masking deeper vulnerabilities like sadness or fear. Bullies. And a desire for harmony. People who are highly empathetic or sensitive often prioritizes others' needs before their own, and then get angry because their needs aren't met. How about vulnerability? The shield. Anger often acts as a secondary emotion, masking deeper pain, grief, embarrassment. Internalizing anger often happens when you prefer to feel at fault. Displaced aggression. You cannot always confront the real cause of your anger. Parents gone, the parents divorced, a friend no a former friend no longer lives in the area, someone died, it's your boss. So your brain redirects that intense energy towards someone less threatening. When you get home, your partner, the dog, the cat. A low emotional tolerance when feeling inadequate, ashamed, or overwhelmed by self-anger. Lashing out acts as a temporary release and a distraction. I don't want to deal with this. It's too painful. And the safe space paradox. A lot of times when we take things out on other people, they love us. They love us unconditionally. And because we know they're safe, we'll lash out at them. I did that with a lot of friends. And they took it. And I don't know how. I know it's because they loved me, but still they shouldn't have to put up with that. Internalizing anger does not simply vanish. It also often simmers and manifests in physical tension, depression, anxiety, or passive-aggressive behavior. As I said, my stress and anxiety and anger manifested into shingles, and that was very painful. I manifested a lot of pain on myself I didn't need to. So for you older people, get your shingles shots, okay? It was not fun. Learning to recognize these triggers is the first step towards processing anger in a healthy, boundary-setting way, so we can have gratitude for anger. One of my friends, I'm going to insert another story. One of my friends, you know her, some of you do, Cheryl. She's on the decorating committee, and actually Bridget and I just help her. She does the decorating. She's very creative. But Cheryl sometimes irritates the heck out of me. But I know I irritate the heck out of her. But a couple of years ago, I finally figured out she's my mirror. She is there to hold up this mirror to me when I am not being kind, or I need to learn a lesson, or there's something I'm not getting. She's there to hold up that mirror. And I've become so grateful for her that she's there to do this for me. Our relationship has changed now that I realize this. You know, we've been able to, we have fun, we enjoy each other. I still poke the bear sometimes, but you know, so does she. We gotta learn, right? Sometimes it takes us a little bit. So, okay, an article in Psychology Today from Ima Loma looked at symptoms of repressed anger. And these fascinated me, so I'm just going to read them. I'm not going to go into them. Psychosomatic symptoms, yeah, and physical ailments such as headaches, chronic cough, and digestive issues. What are you keeping inside? What's cramming you? Emotional numbness. Yeah, I don't have that one. Lethargy, sometimes. Depression, yeah. Lingering sadness without clear reason. Lack of motivation. Chronic procrastination. Urges to hurt oneself. Thank you, God, I don't have that one. The inability to stand up for oneself and thus let others take advantage of them. Yeah, I do that one. Having unreasonable high and unrelenting standards. Oh, I got that one. Having a harsh inner critic. I think we all have that one to some degree. Inability to relax or have pleasure in life. Confused sense of self and identity confusion. that one can be very stressful, and especially in a society that doesn't accept difference. Being abused and used by others due to inability to assert boundaries, codependency, paranoia and intense anxiety, the tendency to judge others, alienation and social isolation, self-sabotaging behaviors, sudden outbursts that surprise people, lack of satisfaction in relationships and friendships, and broken relationships, affairs, and divorce. But anger is an important emotion. It shouldn't be banished or disowned. It can be useful. It can show us. It can be that mirror. And how do we break it? Another quote. I would not look upon anger as something foreign to me that I have to fight. I have to deal with my anger with care, with love, with tenderness, and nonviolence. Thich Nhat Hanh. Breaking the cycle. Ooh, I got a chill. If you notice yourself falling into these patterns of inward directed anger, shifting your approach can help. Notice the physical sensations, the tightening of the gut, clenching of the jaw, the chest tightening, the hands tightening, seeing red. Now, Spirit just popped another story in my head. I was abused, the whole gamut. And I love kids. I have nannied almost 20, I actually have nannied 20 kids in my life. I love them. In fact, 2 of the kids I nannied were in my wedding, and they were 30, 6'4" and 6 foot. They were my flower girl and my ring bearer. I still have relationships with most of my kids. They're my kids from my heart. But one day, Erica pissed me off. She wasn't listening. And I felt my hand draw back to hit her. I took a step back. I could not believe I was going to hit a child. It devastated me. I asked Erica to go into her room and think about what she did, because she had hit her brother, which I didn't. The next day, I called Catholic Social Services and got an appointment to see a therapist, thus beginning my long journey in therapy. But you got to stop. I had to. There's no way I could have hit a child. I just couldn't. They're too precious. Anyway, so where was that? Oh, seek professional support. That's the next one. Yes, please. I'm so grateful that Erica did what she did. And I'm very grateful Spirit and God and my angels stopped me and said, wait a minute, you're going to do something you don't like that had happened to you. So anyway, practice self-compassion. Yes, we can love ourselves. Pause and identify. Why am I really upset at this person? Or am I just carrying the stress of something I neglected to do? Am I mad because I didn't do something? Am I mad because I didn't show up when I was supposed to? And that's another sermon. Name the emotion. Self-anger usually masks deeper, vulnerable feelings like guilt, sadness, or fear of failure. Pinpoint what you are truly feeling beneath the anger. Takes a lot of work to get to that point, but you'll get there. I got there. Pause before speaking. When feeling the urge to react, stop. Delay your response. Take a physical break, like walking away, looking at a tree, looking at a sunset, or a sunrise. You need to disrupt the emotional spike. And I'll leave you with this. 1 Corinthians 13, 4, 5. Love is patient and kind. All those people that love us unconditionally, that truly love us unconditionally. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way, and it is not irritable or resentful. Love is pure. Thank you.